My team's the Seagulls.
They never do really well.
Yeah.
They're like the Eagles, only one.
They're like
letter
the Eagles and the Seahawks. They made a baby.
They just show up to games and steal everyone's food. It's no fun.
Yeah. They don't even really play sports. They just eat the food from the stands.
and poop on people.
No stealing. My team is a bunch of assholes, basically.
You need help with those?
Stillers. Sorry. Ben Stillers.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Everyone has trouble with those headphones.
Yeah. I had my issues too. Daniel fucking straightened me out though.
Straightened your ass out,
Straightened my
boy.
headphones out. They straightened me out.
Everybody, shut up! It's time for this week's episode of The List Game. I'm your host, Daniel French, and this is the part where the rules all come in. This is a conversational improv game. Each of our panel members has a list of topics and or phrases that were drawn from the chicken hat. Their goal is to sneak those topics and phrases into the conversation with a tangent. Another member of the panel can call you out, saying, "That's on your list." If they're right, they get a point. If you bluffed or if they're just wrong, you get a point. The List Game is listener supported. Join the List Game community at www.listgame.com. To contact the List Game crew, email listgame@cox.net, C-O-X. Please subscribe to the podcast, rate us, and leave a review. Let's go around the room. To my left, we have Eric Lorden. Introduce yourselves to the new people, Eric.
What's up? I'm Eric Lorden. Hi, new people.
We have Joe. How do you say your last name, Joe? Assens?
Joe Jasinski.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Joe
close.
Jasinski. We have Nicole Thunder. What is it again?
Seen that game.
Nicole, tell us about yourself.
I'm 12.
All right. Now you got the spirit. Joe, tell us about yourself.
I like 12-year-olds.
This podcast is already on a
Local
great...
of the Santa Barbara area for 40
We all love
plus years.
12-year-olds.
In the big leather chair, we have the voice that's moist, Blake Benlin. We have Dean Garcia.
The Lean Dean Machine.
No, that was it. Yeah, we have another good guy. We got Kevin 11 here from Fame and Stardom. Tell us, Kevin.
How's it going? I'm Kevin, and I do not recall.
Or inhale.
Today's List Game topic is the state of education in the United States. How will we teach? How will schools and classrooms operate? How will we keep enough competent teachers? What are we gonna do to fix this problem?
Well, speaking as a millennial, I detest general education. I wasted so much time in general ed classes learning things that I've never needed, many of which I've forgotten, I might add.
I don't
Here,
remember
here.
a lick of math at all.
Naturally, we should have some...
Did you say meth?
Math.
Oh,
No, we
forgive
did
me.
not have a math class in my
I remember
that's what we
everything
need,
about
a
meth
meth
lab,
lab.
though. Those were
Anyway,
days.
we need some standards to ensure that people have some basic knowledge of mathematical and scientific principles and such. But I think in this case, we should follow the European example and emphasize trade schools that specialize
What are
in
the-
certain careers.
What are we trading?
Well, no. Trade
Baseball cards?
schools, it's a phrase which describes a school devoted to a certain trade.
Oh, learning a trade.
That's right.
Like blacksmith school.
Like if you want to be an artist, you go to a school that emphasizes art, business,
A
et cetera,
cobbler
et cetera.
school.
Cthulhu College,
Funny
I
that
think
you have to
that's
explain what a trade school is.
they're really good at that.
Did you say
Let me
What
rewind it back
college?
to zero.
Cthulhu College.
Cthulhu?
Back to educating.
Square peg, square hole.
Yes, a giant demon god who teaches me every day. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, they teach you trades on how to be a demon.
So at what age do you start a trade school at?
After junior high, let's say.
Okay.
Sounds
Later
about
on,
right.
I'll hit you guys up about the little age. So we're around junior high or so. We're doing some trades. Cobbler school? I want to go back to old badass leather
Yeah, we
shoes
need guilds and
skulls.
whatnot.
Yeah.
We need ironsmiths.
Forget this.
Are we on the discipline train right now? Is that where we're
The
going?
discipline trade.
I think we should discipline by giving kids swirlies. Because when I was in grade school,
What's a
You got
swirly?
swirlies and you learned your
I
lesson.
learned my lesson not to study
If you
hard.
need to interrupt and say what's a swirly, just yell it in the mic. We'll tell you.
What's a swirly?
Well, you see,
Well, glad you asked.
I think that's when they put your head in the toilet.
the top
flush it.
kids would pick up the weak kids and they would dunk their heads
Not
inside
necessarily weak,
toilets.
but little.
Little kids,
Little
yeah.
kids.
Dunk their heads in toilets and then flush it.
The portable kids.
So then it swirls, hence swirly.
Yeah.
So we definitely do need to change our education system.
I think
Yeah.
we also need wet willies, noogies, atomic wedgies, the works.
I must have been one of the
Really?
cool
Lucky
kids.
you.
Oh my goodness, yeah, swirlies.
One of the
Big
cool
thing.
kids I was.
I just remember we shared books. Like,
Same thing.
it was like there weren't ever any books to take home. You know,
That's awesome.
You almost didn't need a backpack. That was only for your equipment for football. And you shared a book, and usually with your girlfriend.
Man, you had a
Steady.
good school experience, man. That's way better than mine. Girlfriend, sharing stuff,
Football.
not
Swirlies.
bringing books
No
home.
swirlies.
That
Doesn't
sounds
know what
awesome.
it is.
Wait, did you go to?
Yeah, where'd you
go to school?
I went to Cthulhu College.
See, I never got swirlies. I always thought they were like just on TV and stuff.
I
when
didn't
I
really
was,
get
never
swirlies.
seen
when I was in
anyone
high
get
school,
one
I
either.
never experienced bullying or anything.
They would
I
put you in
definitely
the trash
experienced
can
bullying.
when you were
but
the new
I
kid.
didn't get swirlies.
Where I was.
What did they do?
Trash can. Yeah.
Trash
Oh,
can.
put you in the trash can.
Wow, they really
Stuff you in the lockers too.
I'd rather get put in the trash can than my head in the toilet.
Yeah,
You know,
all
same.
day.
You can say enough
think I
about
may have
bullies,
gotten-
but they had really creative names for their things.
Trash can.
Trash can, yeah.
Well, they did shove you into a trash can, so that's not that creative.
That was their one lapse in creativity. They can't all be winners.
Usually they would sit around and discuss these things ahead of time. What should we call?
The Council of Bullies.
Well, we're putting them in trash cans.
That's it.
So
Schools should be run by councils of bullies, because bullies know best.
They're the smartest usually.
I like the co-ed partner idea that Kevin came up. More schools should adopt that. Or it doesn't even necessarily have to be co-ed. It doesn't have to be a boy and a girl, but whoever is to your liking, and you're always working on projects together, and you become homework buddies.
the problem with that is that soon enough it will become very distracting.
That's the point.
Yeah, it was,
I'm hot for teacher.
playing doctor.
Raise your hand. Mr. Roshevic, I don't have a book. Can I please share with LaMonica?
Is Mr. Rosovich one of your cards?
Nope.
Love
you got
point for
bluffed.
Kevin. Wow.
Got him.
You just made that up out of the thin blue sky? Oh, that was an actual teacher of yours.
But you don't recall.
You can't make this stuff up.
So I think in the future, schools should be funded entirely by bake sales.
Don't they do that now?
Is it bake sale where they sell the legal marijuana?
Then not only
future,
would schools be funded, but the public would be provided with delicious baked goods. So everybody wins.
All you really need is for the teacher to bring in that big TV and play Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
you don't really need all that money. Right?
So what, no teachers?
No,
Are you
just
phasing
Bill
teachers
Nye.
out?
Bill Nye, just watching Bill
the
Nye all the
TV?
time.
Just plug
Yeah.
them in front of the screen and
So
let them
what they'll
sit there
do
and
is, yeah,
water
when
them
they're
occasionally.
Did you
looking at
know
screens
that?
at home, they go to school.
Now
and look at
you
screens.
know.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
students,
kids.
we're going to watch another film. Please
As you
enjoy
can see,
while I
we've got some
turn the lights
high-level
down.
ideas on improving education.
I mean, that's the only time I paid attention to class, so.
How about if the
Next time, of course, for sure.
teachers union hires lobbyists so that they can put as much muscle on the government to get funded as everybody else does in the corporate?
I don't understand what you're talking about, Joe. That's too complicated.
Is that on your list?
Yeah, what? Don't be
real life?
ridiculous. That's
Have any of you guys actually helped a
nonsensical
teacher
solution.
grade papers? You would be amazed at the dumbing down is really working.
Case in point, me.
What's a paper?
It would be nice if that we had a new generation of more intelligent people rather than less.
I think we need, in order to do that, we need to decrease the amount of like putting kids in front of screens. Like,
I would think that's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
I
Like
was
that's-
kidding when I said just plug them in and water them.
oh, okay, yeah. Good. Well,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll get it to the
sometimes-
Matrix so they can just jack you in and I don't have to even read the book. Next thing you just know it.
I think
Yeah.
we should put chips
Well, that-
in the heads of children and program them.
Right.
Make schools like schools of fish.
Well, that way we can tell them what
no
to think. and they can
talking,
fit right
no
in the-
misbehaving.
Do you mean like cranial download? Like your brain?
I suppose
Is
I
it
do.
upload or
Is that
download?
what the Matrix is where they jack
Good
you
point.
in?
Would it be
Next-
uploaded? Well, upload means you're uploading it into the cloud and the internet. So
where's-
it would be a download, right? Because it's
No,
downloading
the
into this
no,
computer.
the upload would be to get it in your brain, and the download would be to explain it.
Where's Rod when we need him?
Can I DIY this? I think Daniel might be down with music school. More music in the schools.
That would be fun.
Of course, there's got to be more music in the schools. That's why there's a kazoo on the table right now.
Oh, I can play that?
Oh yeah, I got a whole bag of them if you guys want more.
The only music I
We all need
remember
kazoo.
doing in school is that in the 5th grade, we all played the recorder.
It's not working.
Oh yeah, why did we all have to learn to play the freaking recorder?
This is why.
Because put some weed in the top and then
Because
you
it was-
light it. And that's-
The recorder is the cheapest instrument you can buy.
That's
why
you got
everyone
it.
learns to play
Yeah,
the recorder.
It's just a piece of plastic with
Yeah,
holes
the
in
recorder.
it.
You know, it's kind of like a flute, but different.
We learned from Zelda.
The poor man's flute.
Oh man, I would have killed to learn how to play an ocarina. That would have been so fun.
Macarena?
Macarena?
No, man.
Macarena?
Yeah,
I can dance the Macarena.
Hey, Macarena.
Do we get bonus points if we know how to dance the Macarena?
School of Rock.
To have Jack Black as my teacher, that would be awesome. Let's rock and roll!
You made me look like a fool.
That's good.
Jack Black as Nacho Libre.
There's no one else who could have played that role.
My stretchy pants.
There's no one else other than
Everybody
Oh,
wears
pick
stretchy
one.
pants and plays music.
I hate every orphan in the whole world.
You guys are going to be hearing a lot of kazoos now.
Do we go to the same school?
So you spoke of yourself as being a millennial.
I am. Like,
Yes.
is this thing on?
How do you think things are going in your guys' world as
Well,
millennials?
in what sense?
You put him on the inside.
Like, how is
Toward
my
a
generation
goal.
doing in general?
Or anything? How's school, education, housing, career path? What do you think? Do you think that this
Housing-
world is? You think people are going to make it?
Housing's definitely a mess for us right
yeah,
now.
everything sucks for us right now. I mean,
should.
school is
It
more
really seems like
expensive
it to
than
me.
it's ever been. Housing is so very expensive.
Job
Food-
market's very limited.
Well, you know, you have. You know what
here
else you have to look
especially.
forward
Yeah.
to is
Barbara,
that automation is going to take another 30-something-odd% of the jobs within the next 20,
Oh god,
40
yeah.
years. So-
Robots are taking over everything.
Don't
That's-
forget about
yeah.
industrial spies, too.
Well, that's probably a job market that's expanding.
That's what I want to do.
So you can be an industrial spy to learn how to make a robotic teacher, and then the robots are taking over the teaching jobs.
kind of like a Rosie the Robot-esque kind of teacher. Very nice.
That's a little
and
bit old
nurturing.
school, but yeah, I could see her smacking some kids with a ruler.
Jetsons are timeless,
Like
man.
Rosie? Oh, the robot Rosie.
Yeah.
How is it going to work out, though, for your generation
It is.
when we're investing a little effort into
She likes
raising
to
a
in the house.
new generation of intelligent people, and
I
yet
will
the
teach you.
standards of intellect are higher technically than ever as far as what's expected of people?
Well, I think the easy answer is it's not going to work out because, as you pointed out, standards have been dropping here in the US of A,
I don't
especially.
even know if they have standards anymore.
Exactly.
I got a ribbon for coming in 12th place.
That's the one I
feel
got.
just
It's
as
gonna
good
be-
as the rest of us. You know,
Honestly, that's why I'm going into
Man, fuck
entertainment.
optimism.
That's one thing robots can't take over is entertainment business.
Yeah.
Shit is
And you don't need a degree for it either.
They already
part is
do.
that They probably could program a robot. to
Robots,
do
they already do
stand
take
up.
over the
What?
entertainment
How?
business.
What are you talking? Oh, personally, I'm talking about acting. I mean, unless
Yeah.
we're living in Futurama's world, I don't think robots
There
are
are
going to take over.
so many robot movies.
Well, yeah,
honestly,
robot
they've taken
movies,
over.
but they're played by people. All of them.
I don't know, Benedict Cumberbatch. Are you telling me that guy isn't an android?
No, he's definitely an alien, Blake. Look at his eyes.
Grocery stores.
Well,
There'll come a day when
Smart.
they probably don't even have a
Is that
live
on your
person
list?
in the store except for at the door with a shotgun.
Is what on whose
Yeah.
list?
The grocery store.
yeah, have
Erica's
like,
grocery store is on your list.
No, it's not.
Buff
They'll soon enough have like Kevlar vests for required in the school uniform and everything.
Yeah, I
School
think
shootings go back.
janitors should double as commandos to ensure that they've got bandoliers and whatnot.
What are you thinking? Like Mexican cowboys?
Hey,
What
your
you're
words,
thinking
not mine.
about? I can say it.
That's
I'm
a
Mexican.
Guadalajara. That's a gaucho.
A gaucho. Thank you.
I couldn't think of the word.
For
Was that
the
Mexican? Is it gaucho?
Mexican
Yeah,
cowboy.
yeah, Mexican cowboy.
So-
Only
I-
Mexican
I-
cowboys go to UCSB. Only. You
it's
can't get
really
into
true.
UCSB unless you're of Mexican descent and
Yeah,
know how to rope cattle.
Unless you've been in
wish I
one
was a
Mexican
cowboy.
standoff, I don't let you go in there.
In all seriousness, I do think higher education should be publicly funded, or at least there should be a public option, because the money the federal government makes off of student loan interest every year could cover the cost of of public education.
Yeah, they've been making money off me for
college
15
students.
years.
Wouldn't community colleges fit into that category of if you're a resident in the area, you can go to community college for extremely low.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I myself
that
have
is
done
technically
so, admittedly.
an entry level to higher education.
Yeah, I go to school and I take
You can fill out
as
a form
many
at City
classes
College,
as
no
I
waiver
want,
fees.
and I only have to pay $50.
Yeah, I don't pay
It's
much
really
to go
cheap.
to CC, but a lot of people don't have this option, and a lot of people a lot of young people in their 20s are thousands and thousands of dollars in debt with no hope of digging
Yeah, I
themselves
was
out.
hearing something in the news. Apparently, it's going to get worse too.
The American
With that
dream.
tax giveaway to the corporations.
Oh, yeah.
Trump's got in.
You too could live
Work.
this life.
Well, what was brought up a little earlier ago, Germany's kind of on top of it right now, and a lot of people don't realize it, is they've been allowing people from other countries to come into Germany to get their higher education for free. But what their ultimate plan is, they want people from all over the world to always come to Germany to be educated, and then they're going to make all the education money there. That's my guess. That's their plan. I like the fact that for now, though, it's because it's going to backfire on them. It's not going to work. For now, if I want to go get a degree in engineering or something, I want to go live in Germany for a while, the education's free. So it's like, let's all go to Germany, baby. And they're
How's
gonna
the
end
weather
up,
in Germany?
it's going to end up being free there for 50 years,
do
and then they're going to go, this isn't going to work.
At least the beer's good.
A lot of European countries, I'm pretty sure, like
good.
college is
Oh,
free,
yeah. This
and university is free.
Yeah, many Western countries, especially European countries, have already conquered the issue of the public option.
It's
in
because they
education.
like add they add like a couple cents to their taxes, and then boom, education's paid for. And
Yeah, it doesn't take-
That sounds like a good idea.
And of course, America is
the
far
money
more
actually goes for
populous a nation than any you'll find in Europe. There are over 300 million people here.
Yeah,
so
that's
if you
true.
wanted taxpayers to fund public universities, it wouldn't take very much.
Except also the problem with the U.S. is that people get
talk to Trump
really
about that.
riled up
I'm sure he'll
about
understand.
anything, and they will get riled up about that.
Yeah.
One time,
I invited him.
back in the day, I'm pretty sure they tried to switch us from our system to the metric system, and everyone freaked out. So they were like, "Okay,
This is
never
true.
mind. This is a
an
bad
older
idea."
kid when this happened. So me being one of the old people in the room, I remember this.
Right.
They tried to make America go into the metric system.
Actually, it's sort of. I
Nobody
remember
would have
that.
Everybody
it.
over 30 years old just flipped. That's couldn't deal, man.
That's all the baby boomers too, right? So they were probably just
Yeah, I remember that switch over, and I remember I had to go buy a metric socket set.
Well, you
And
still have
but
to
if
do
you work
that.
on
Yeah,
any
you
car,
do.
a GM car is all metric stuff.
We should have like just stuck through it. I mean, like I bet after like at least 2 years, everyone would have been like, "Oh, why did we freak out about this?"
Well, they're not freaking
What's
out now.
learning
It's
can
almost
be
easier.
easily
One
Yeah.
millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4. I mean,
I have a metric kazoo.
it's actually easier. It's actually easier than
Things settle.
3/8 of an inch, 5/8. Out of an 8.
And you should.
You know what they call a quarter pounder in Paris?
Yeah.
What?
Le
It was in the book that you shared with Monica.
That sounds so cool. It sounds so much more fancy.
I know.
That wasn't the BattleBot football that you used to.
Also,
Tell
I
us
was
about that.
referencing Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I've heard that it's Tarantino's one Tarantino's best,
I would say,
But-
I think it's his best.
Catch up.
and it's on Netflix now too.
I love Reservoir Dogs.
I do
Squish
like
that tomato.
Reservoir Dogs as well.
Somebody else in some other crew is Mr. Poiple. You're Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink.
All right, you guys are talking about this. That you're all going higher education, higher education, higher education.
Yeah, start at the beginning.
What are we going to do about the little kids? Especially since, as Eric and I have pointed out in past episodes, there's so many poor
Age of consent.
people that are just pumping out babies for us to educate.
You're not wrong.
And that brings the age of consent. And what did he just said? Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him. That brings it up.
Fuck
thought it was
them
funny.
literally or figuratively, whichever you prefer.
But how low do we go?
Well, you know what's interesting
Age
that
of
you're
consent
saying.
in school?
Well, they start at school like
2 months after puberty.
If we're talking about educating the low
Grass on the
is that what
infield,
you're
play
meaning?
ball.
Low in age or low in money, poverty,
Both.
but okay, all the above. All right.
Well, I mean, maybe we need to start lowering the age of sex education. Like, maybe, I mean,
Agreed.
Not to get all serious, but like, when do they
100%
start
agreed.
educating kids about sex these days? I don't know. I mean,
I don't either.
I still haven't had it, so I don't know what's.
Yes,
I don't really have any education on
He
this.
just knows that stuff shoots out of the hole.
I just know that that's how babies are made. That's
Kevin's
all.
got a book he can share.
I thought the story.
My
his
first
girlfriend's
sex
already
education
got it,
class was in 6th grade, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think mine was in either 5th or 6th, and I remember we watched a video, and it was some narrow-minded, like
Made in the 1930s.
with cartoons.
they,
I'm sure.
in order to
From Germany?
prevent-
Oh, Hitler makes a baby.
Yeah, I was just- from Germany.
in order to prevent the spread of STDs, they raised the possibility of simply not having sex.
Oh wow,
I
what a
mean,
simple plan. Hey,
come
you don't
on,
want to
yeah.
break your arm during skiing? Just don't go skiing.
Don't want to get hurt? Don't leave the house.
Abstinence. That's
Was that on Monty Python where he brought his wife in for the sex ed class? Was that? I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was.
watching that sex ed.
Yeah, I-
Don't have sex in the horror movie, and you will not die.
Oh yeah. So maybe
That's
we should
true.
just all
That's actually
show
one of the
kids scary
golden
movies.
rules.
Scary
And
movies
be like,
in
you don't want to
school.
die, don't have sex.
Not
So-
in the horror movie.
There's the answer for the lower
So don't go skip
education
while going.
population is show them horror movies.
Yes.
That's the
Show
answer.
them horror movies.
Show them horror movies.
And they will learn at least their street smarts.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
Carry a weapon.
how often do you watch a horror movie and be like, this person's an idiot? Why are they doing
Every
this?
time.
Because
Like-
they didn't watch horror movies when they were a kid.
Exactly.
Did you say a horror movie?
Horror movie-based education.
As soon as you see a pair of panties, somebody's gonna die. Introduce sack races, because when you're doing sex education, you are going to jump
Into the sack.
Yeah.
And you must
Put a sack on your.
and learn about
Drain
the
your
sack
sack.
and drain
But
your
yeah,
sack.
those 80s slasher films are cautionary tales because everybody who does drugs and has sex and
Dies.
shit dies.
Yeah.
Horror
It's only the pure one that lives at the end.
Yeah, it's the virgin.
Yeah.
Which is the killer himself.
We replace sex ed with horror movie.
80s horror movie.
It not only teaches them how to have sex, but teaches them that they'll be killed by a knife-wielding maniac if they do.
So here's what you're faced with. Here's the risk.
So they mix the math and the sex ed. So if you have 6 condoms and she has 4 condoms, how many condoms is that?
You have a nice long
condoms and you
weekend.
have
Is what
sex.
you
Yeah, a long
got.
The answer is no condoms because God is watching.
We don't teach that in school.
No, they don't. Thank God.
I don't think God's even around anymore. I think God
Okay,
left.
so look. All right, we're talking about educating little kids, right? And we're not optimistic about our prospects. But I swear, I walk in the motherfucking Apple store, and I swear, there's a kid, and he is not tall as that table, and he's got that iPad in his hand, and he's doing things that I don't know how to do, that I have to take a class for, and I got a master's in English.
Well, it's because
And so it's like, I mean, will the access to technology like outbalance our inability to deal with these numbers and these other
The older people do have to keep up.
Yeah.
They do have to
It's
keep up because
actually,
the younger generation that grows up with the new technology, they do catch
Like herpes.
when I was a kid, the VCR was the new thing, and older people came to me to program their VCR, and I was like 7 years old.
Very important,
Keeping up.
actually. Little kids that can't even hardly talk, they're playing with that damn thing.
Yeah,
like you
it's,
say, things that I needed class for.
Hey, as a music teacher, I was in Japan. You go into a place like a Guitar Center in Japan, and there are 7-year-old kids shredding like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani because they started when they were 2.
Well, Tiger Woods.
And that does happen here too, not as often, but I do see it once in a while. I'll go into like go shop for a guitar.
Because they got Guitar Hero.
something, or see kids on the
They were 2
keyboards
years
and
old,
the
they
pianos, and they're like 12 years old, and they're
Shredding it.
Think about this. Think about what you're saying, though. I'll bet you that kid had a parent guiding them into that path.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
basically, good parenting would probably be the beginning of this conversation as far as education.
that would help.
God
Unfortunately,
forbid.
most people
I
don't
think
do
you
that.
just hit the root of this entire discussion,
Yeah.
by the way, right there.
There it is.
If you want to really like talk about
And you
kids
know,
how
you
they
were
grow
saying-
up,
And
talk about the
education in
parents.
schools.
You were
Yeah.
saying about
not this
people
teacher's
just popping out babies that expecting to be educated. The interesting thing I think about, and I don't want to say conservatives, but I seem to see them outside the abortion clinics the most, would be that this right to life thing is so precious. This life is a gift. This is a gem. But then as soon as it pops out, I don't want to pay to educate it. I don't want to pay to feed it. I don't want any of these problems. And I don't want to pay to put it in jail when it's 18.
We have 7 billion people on the planet. The gem stopped being a gem at about 5 billion. We are less than a dime a dozen, folks. You know, the entire composition of your body is worth about 7 cents.
It's a baker's dozen, though, right?
I got an idea. I think that we should. You guys were talking about tuition earlier and everything, and like paying for your schooling and how it's free and whatnot. And obviously, it's not here. I think a fun idea would be torture for tuition. I think if you could
Torture for tuition?
Yeah, like let's say you can't.
I think
afford-
Trump would be down with that for sure.
Who would be down?
Trump.
Of course he would. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it
because
would fit this
you know,
regime perfectly.
especially if you're somebody who didn't have kids and didn't send your kids to private
Sorry, I
public school
interrupted
and
you.
stuff. It's like, well, wait a minute, you're not chipping in as much as me for taxes and stuff. I'm paying for your kid to go to school.
Wait a second.
So
Oh, there needs
you
to be some
torture
torture
them
involved here.
to get more out of them. It's like, whoa. How come you have an iPhone and a Range Rover, but you're not paying for your kid?
Like stick them in a
Just give them a
room.
little electroshock and then boom, they're
Actually, in a
good.
room and make them listen to country music for like 20 hours straight. Like that will pay for one semester.
There you go, a nice light torture, nothing really
Yeah,
physical.
not I'm not talking about like violence here. I'm just talking about
Back
just
to
like
music school.
How about people that are financially challenged? In lieu of their tuition, they work in the tutoring lab, work somewhere at the school.
They work in the mines.
Work at the desk, signing people up if they even still have a desk.
yeah.
Well, by then we will have moon mines, so they'll be in space. So it'd be cool.
It's a good idea, but you would run out of jobs way faster than you
Yeah.
think because there's a lot.
A lot of these kids have money though, their parents, and they wouldn't. A lot of the parents
are
don't even
overrated.
want their
That's
kids
true.
to have a job anymore.
Yeah, jobs are overrated.
I think you should have to sit in a chair strapped down with someone blowing a kazoo in your ear for 25 hours straight.
It's gonna be all of us.
20
We're on the
hours.
torture crew.
Yeah.
What if they're into that kind of thing?
Eric is very happy. He had never played a kazoo before today.
Yeah. Or at least not in recent memory.
I'm a
He was like,
substitute.
what is this thing?
I learned it in like a matter of seconds. This is the greatest musical instrument of all time.
Good morning, children. I am your substitute torture teacher.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes,
see,
I'm-
that's a win for the teacher too, because then the teacher kind of gets off. Like teachers are always, I don't want to generalize and say that they're always complaining, but everybody always says that it's like such a tough job. You know, teachers always have it so rough. So that might lighten things up a little bit. Like teachers can get a little bit of fun too. They probably get sick of these fucking
Speaking of
kids.
teachers getting
you know what I
fun,
mean? These kids,
that
these
whole-
little asshole privileged
Wear a
kids.
sack hood with one eye.
Exact some revenge on these little.
Yeah, if we want to effectively tutor the young, then
some back.
we've got to make sure the teachers are happy. I say
That's why we lower the age of consent, because then you can't get busted for having sex with your students.
we have a Tinder specifically for teachers. Teachers
Teacher
and their
Tinder.
students, perhaps.
Hello,
Teacher
little
Tinder.
Jenny. Do you want your gold star today?
You got to put a cap on that.
Just
at some
swipe
point.
it, swipe it. No, I don't want that kid. No, I don't want that kid. No,
Is that to get? Wait, is that to?
So Tinder for Teachers has a bunch of little kids in
Yes.
But wait, is that to get them in your class, or is that to
You
fuck
get to
them?
pick
Like,
and
what
choose
is-
your own
it.
class.
I was thinking, like you said, Tinder for Teachers.
but
I'm
then
thinking,
what-
like,
'cause I'm
one
against-
teacher meeting
I'm
another
against
teachers.
the kid.
I know. It's
Okay,
got
yeah,
Could
it's
be
got all
another
these kids
teacher.
in-
Could be
Oh,
a
I'm
child.
sorry. Maybe I was
that again-
What are we
mistaken.
gonna do for elementary school teachers then? What are they gonna get? They're not gonna be able to do.
We were talking
that.
about that.
Oh,
we
well,
were.
that depends on what you're
Okay.
into, Dean.
Don't you want to get educated, Dean?
At farmers.com.
Someone's at the door.
Who could it be?
It's the police here to bust us because we were talking about some really weird shit.
We don't want what you're selling.
Wait, you thought because he's wearing a scarf that he's gonna sell us
I've
something?
I've
just
schmurred my
generalizing.
pants.
Where were we?
Are these your friends?
We were talking
Children.
about
They're
having
friends,
sex with
right?
elementary school
We're going
kids.
to record another thing after this, and these guys are here to do
Oh, I thought maybe they were, knocking on the door on Sunday. If you know what I mean?
Heard the word of
Can we
God
educate
lately?
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
Tinder for
somehow
teachers?
heard it. They're
I say
watching
put the
everyone.
flag salute back in the schools and take it out in the NFL. Why do they even have an NFL flag salute anymore?
Didn't they add that flag salute in the NFL
I
after
like
9/11
No, they've
just
had
for the sake of?
They've had the national anthem for like ever in
I
sporting
was gonna
events.
say as long as I can ever remember.
So many schools have their livelihood just from the sports situation, right? Even high schools, it's like we pay for a lot of stuff because people pay to come to our football games and all that. So people are going to start kind of veering away from that. So the sports have to get gnarlier. We got to have some gnarlier sports to make some money in high schools and everything. So
We need straight up gladiatorial combat.
Yes.
And it should be human beings fighting animals. Like actual, like,
Tigers,
instead of
lions.
like the lions versus the bears, it'll be like this Joe. It could be any Joe. It could be Joe versus the lion.
no.
And then Joe fights a
I don't
fucking
wanna go
lion.
to
What are
school
the guys
there.
at UCSB that we talked about earlier?
The
Gauchos?
Gauchos
Mexican
versus the
Cowboys?
Bears.
Full contact.
And it's real
mascot.
bears.
Yeah,
I'd watch
with actual bears. And the Gauchos they get whips and they get lassos and they can
Yeah,
fucking
they get their
do
lassos
damage.
and their whips, but they got to deal with grizzly bears.
They gotta deal with
the
actual bears.
Gaucho, and then they're gonna
That's
play
so
Cal
smart.
Berkeley, so there's the bear. What about grade schools?
They can
Education?
fight
How
like
is this-
smaller animals,
all
like
the
honey
talk
badgers.
in the world, what would be an idea that
And they can
actually
say the
could be
honey badger ate
implemented?
my homework.
Well,
Grade
back
schools
on
don't
the,
really care about sports. They more care about like.
What about like
Basic.
Grade school
How about-
sports, you do those little kid rodeos where they have to like rope sheep and stuff.
You know,
They do
general
that in the Midwest, they
education,
do.
although maybe
Calf
wasn't perfect for you, is probably good for a lot of kids. This
Yes.
way they can read and write and arithmetic, so to speak.
Well, of course, we've got to teach them to read and write. I wasn't
Putting away the
suggesting we
electronic
abolish
devices would
that.
actually
Good
help
No, only
increase
fighting
their
bears.
social skills.
Only fighting
because
bears
they're
and
actually
lions.
Just
talking
go back
to each other.
before the Enlightenment. That's when it was perfect. Nobody read.
Well, that's what the
nobody
chip
wrote.
in your head is for. When you're a little kid, you plop that chip in their head and you just keep pumping in how to
Program 'em.
read and write through the chip.
So you don't have to actually put in the
Download,
work, you just know
upload.
it immediately. I wish I could do that.
That'd be
There
I
you
nice.
liked it on the
go.
Matrix.
CD.
Where now I know how to fly that
CD.
helicopter.
Is that a real thing?
Sure.
I mean, like, is it already a real thing?
CDs?
It's very believable.
It's in theory. It's in theory.
coming.
But I saw too that they were talking about like a way that they wanted to figure out how to actually download something into your mind.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so like
Through
true
going
right
to
now.
school.
Kind of sounds dangerous, but
Oh, it's definitely dangerous. But you know, you make an
Oh, I'm
omelet, you gotta break
guaranteeing you the
some
side effects are going to be
So
huge.
watching TV. It's pretty
Well,
dangerous.
eggs. Yeah, that's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing.
dangerous because it might bore me to death.
They're downloaded. They've been downloading
Yeah,
for
they're
years.
downloading that shit from the. Yeah, that's a good
Sit
point.
in front of the
That's
TV
kinda-
and watch.
It's like a slower version of what you're talking about is kind of what's already happening.
Yeah, on the point you were trying to make, Kevin, about technology and the increasing dependence of young people on say, phones, iPads, I think that's going to play a significant role in education in the future. I mean, if you want to look up something, if you want to know anything, most kids have this technology at their disposal.
At their fingertips.
it's already playing.
How long do you think the retention
So I
is of
think
looking
that-
something up on the phone, writing it down, if even applicable? And do you think 3 days later you're going to remember
It
it?
It's
depends
the
on the individual
subject.
and how their parents
And the
taught
subject
them.
matter, you're probably right. You'll remember something
I
that you
am
want to
suggesting
remember.
that young people will seek out knowledge that they want to know, figuring back into my whole point about general education and the fact that if you force children to try and learn something that they have no desire to know, it's going to fail and they're not going to hold on to it. So cellular learning, people can do their
It
own.
gives them the
Cellular
autonomy.
learning?
Yes.
It gives them the autonomy to decide what they want to. I kind of like that idea,
self?
though. You're not forced to learn anything. You just learn what you want to learn.
Well, I feel like you do.
Well, in the beginning,
So
you
they're
gotta
going to
learn-
watch porn all day.
There's a
Is that what you
certain
mean?
amount of everything you got to learn when you're young.
Right, you
else
need to
would you
learn the
like?
basics of general education.
Yeah, of course.
And not be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Well, wait, you never learned that though.
Different about like in our house, if I wanted to find something out, they're like two big stacks of encyclopedias. And
Exactly.
I go and
That's-
I grab them, I get it. What's so different about looking on the internet?
You were just
just
reading
faster.
my
It's just
mind.
faster.
Oh, there's a big
It's
difference.
just faster. That's it.
And the pages don't rip. Those damn pages are so thin.
You know what? As you're looking for your subject in the encyclopedias, did you ever not notice that you end up seeing 10 other things on the way?
I do too
I
on the
suppose
internet.
that could happen on the net as well, but
It does.
That happens to me all the
do you even
time.
know
Encyclopedia when we were in grade school. Like,
Right.
That was like our punishment.
everybody?
That's torture
Well, that's
right
how
there.
did you do a book report without an
We're
encyclopedia?
punishing
real
you with
torture.
education.
Or like, you know, if like the bridge is between, all right, you didn't just watch the movie, you read the book.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, well, you saw the movie.
You read the Cliff Notes.
And you liked it. I saw The Black Hole when I was a kid. And I loved the movie so much. My mom said, well, it's not on TV and it ain't in the theater. But here's the book.
Yeah, read the book.
And then, but those things be seen in similar fashion.
I would have to agree.
I
There's
do
some
too.
crossovers of where you're looking it up on the phone and looking it up in the thing. I could see that balancing
Sometimes you look on the phone where
ish.
you gotta go find the book. Well, I look on the phone.
Or go find your phone.
And now you can listen to the book instead of read the book.
If your book drops in the water, it still works. How about
On
that?
this subject, I got to put in. This is for Mackenzie. I know, she's addicted to her phone. We've
Yeah.
learned this from
She
other.
looks at it in the middle of this tape.
And she said, like when we did the camping trip, the first 7 hours or something, she would just be crying because she didn't have her phone.
Here, you look at your phone.
By the time you're 3 years old, you have an iPad thing that's implanted into your forearm.
I'm predicting that that's going to be locked on your arm eventually.
I don't want
That way the man knows where you're at all times.
I'd rather have the chip.
You don't have to put it in your pocket, man. It's there, you know.
And then robots become part of the entertainment business.
There we go. That's how it happens.
Once in a while, you got to go to the doctor. It's like, I kind of jacked off too hard.
I short-circuited my computer arm.
I don't have to memorize my lines anymore. I just download them.
Let me just download it into my brain chip.
Forget technology. Perhaps we just need super special ed, under which everyone's needs are catered to and everyone is coddled. According to their own
you mean like
desires.
present day?
I love it.
You mean like now?
Coddled?
Is that like Superman with autism?
You don't just get a participation trophy. You get a trophy for signing up.
Handyman.
Not cool or funny.
I made my own cape, but it doesn't work.
All right, so we're gonna be robots. We've decided that.
Okay.
That's the decision.
I'm dropping out of that
All
one.
the actual robots that fought the Jedi broke apart.
They're robots.
All the teachers in the poor kids' elementary schools are General Grievous.
Then
Retreat!
Start some
Retreat!
shit with me, you little bastard.
I don't know who General Grievous is, but he
Oh
sounds
my
like that.
God, you
Sounds like a
suck.
badass.
And their lightsabers sound like
Look him
kazoos.
up.
I'm gonna look him up right now in my arm phone.
Yeah, look him up on her handheld computer.
Hold on.
that everyone has.
Mine's not
Okay,
working.
yeah,
Okay, General Grievous, just picture like the crazy Lego robot dude that has like 6 arms and can flip lightsabers around and chop you
Voltron?
up like salad. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, he's like a Voltron.
Yeah.
He's like a. Oh, fuck.
A lot smaller than a Voltron and a lot thinner.
We're all Grievuses. Hey, Grievous.
You said Grievous.
Shut up, Grievous.
So what can you do on your own level to make a difference with education?
I
Suicide bombing.
You can teach him the right way.
The right way could be different on lots of levels, but you're right. Teach them something.
Teach them. Teach them. Teach them. Period.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, exactly.
I like the way that they have to have commercials on the radio. Talk, read, sing. That changes everything. To your kid.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
I've seen
It
that.
is kind of catchy though.
You need commercials to teach parents to talk to their
Right.
children.
That's my point. Right. Exactly. Thank you.
And if you don't have kids, then just like anytime they're looking at an iPad, just smack it out of their hands.
Not bad, but we need radio reminder.
Yeah, it's disheartening.
They ought to have it like an earthquake where if they bleep the thing. Don't forget to read to your kid instead of sitting here watching this TV. Right, I forgot.
There is
you're
not.
right.
We
are
There
the
is no
TVs.
more TV. You're right.
Education punishment. You didn't do your book report. You didn't study for that test. You become
Poverty.
no. Well, you're already
Just
poverty.
take all your
We're
money.
Everybody's going to be there.
Stupid.
Swirly is the punishment.
No,
Nice
man,
circle
no way. You become the doozers, man. You know, the Fraggles are the good kids, and
Back
the
to the
doozers
Fraggles.
have to go down into the freaking
Fraggle
caves
Rocks.
and
Structure
you,
tasty.
you gotta make those 30 tennis shoes in one day.
Hey, Daniel, is that on your list?
No.
Eric, he talks about Fraggle Rocks every
No, I know,
episode.
but the Doozers, I never even heard of the Doozers.
I don't know what a doozer is.
Oh my
Sounds
God.
like a doozy.
Look up Fraggle Rock and look up the doozers, man. The doozers rock.
Yeah.
You work in the
Smart version of those minions.
right, I was about to
Okay, I've
say.
heard of the Minions.
Minions.
Knockoff of the dude.
Damn straight.
So the Doozers, is it like the Doers?
No, the
It's
Minions.
Like a funny way
Okay,
of saying
this
it?
is what happened. This is how the Minions were born. The Doozers, instead of having intercourse with other races and everything, they were very racist. You had to be a Doozer to marry a Doozer, and so they ended up with Doozer incest.
You and his
so
sister.
You started and then ended up with Doozer babies that were all fucked up, and those are the Minions.
The Doozers. So, the Doozers.
What'd you
So
say,
they're
Joe?
assholes, basically.
They're these little guys running around building things.
that
and
just
ignoring
beer? Is that
all
yours?
the
It is,
Fraggles.
yeah, it's pretty
But
good.
the Fraggles,
Fraggles are the cool ones.
But the whole Fraggles world would not exist without the Doozers.
So they're the Doers.
I disagree.
Correct.
Hence
I
their
disagree.
name.
All the stuff that the Fraggles had, the very foundation of their caves where they
Doozers are
lived,
good.
everything was built by the Doozers. Otherwise, they'd be out in the freaking rain and lightning
With the
and
big
whatnot.
goon guys that live out in the radish.
Are you talking about
Fraggles
the
are
people
like
that wanted to
comedians.
eat the Fraggles?
Yeah, the ones
Yeah, that
are
look like big,
the ones that get everything
scary
handed to them.
goons.
Yeah, they wanted to eat the Fraggles.
Yeah, so like artists.
And that are annoyed of the
They were your
doers.
force
So.
giant.
Oh, really?
But the Fraggles would go and steal
Fraggles
their
kind of sound like
radishes,
the
so they
assholes
weren't.
in this
Oh,
equation.
okay. Good point. That was how they foraged. And they also went to the trash heap.
But what the Doozers built,
The Doozers.
the Doozers,
Oh, a Doozer.
The caves and stuff the Fraggles lived in didn't look like anything what the Doozers built.
The Fraggles used to eat the Doozers buildings like it was candy.
Yes, it was. They did.
Oh, this is a nice structure.
They did.
Meanwhile, you grab this skyscraper, and as you take a bite, you hear Doozers screaming.
So the Doozers were basically the proletariat.
Exactly. They didn't care about it.
Well, that'll teach you, damn Doozers.
Why did the Doozers make the buildings out of chocolate?
Boy, I'm
that's
so glad for my
fucking dumb.
education. Thanks for paying for it.
I was gonna say, if you're making buildings out of Skittles and Starburst, then that shit's gonna get eaten.
Unless it's the yellow Starburst.
You can get a building permit for that. I don't know.
It looked like a Rector set. You know?
An erection set?
Erection?
Is that on your list, Joe?
You're becoming an eraser.
Oh my gosh, and that's a huge part of young education.
Oh, they're back to
Erections?
sex ed.
Yes.
No. Yes, young education is erections.
The erection
Roger,
set is
take
what
me
you
outside.
have
I
on
don't
your
wanna go
Tinder
Right.
profile, your teacher Tinder profile.
No, I was going to say,
Come over to my house, I'll show you my erection set.
Yeah.
if you're like between 3 and 7 years old, like 80% of the stuff that you learn from, be it reading, writing, arithmetic, or whatever, should be in the form of some kind of erector set.
It would be Willy Wonka in the Chocolate City, though, wouldn't it?
Willy
Chocolate
Wonka
what? Oh,
Is that on your?
Oh, that's definitely one of your cards. Is that one of your cards?
Yeah, but you're saying about
Yes.
chocolate, I finally...
I got a point.
Eric got the first point call today.
I've actually said several of them.
You cheated.
It helped that Joe
You
looked at
cheated.
his
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
What about the fruits of knowledge?
Is that one of your cards, Joe?
Like apples?
Don't look at it when you're.
That's another
Well, what
point.
about the
Look
fruits
at
of
it
knowledge?
while
I'm
you
serious.
talk about
He's
it,
referring
that's
back to the
bust
sack.
me right now.
Giveaway.
I thought you were supposed to bring it up.
Just bring them up, but if you're looking at it while you bring it up,
I see all that money and Davis didn't go to waste.
one of the only reasons you really keep sports alive is the strategy option, because in another 50 years or so or less, we're going to be talking about strategy to take over other governments. And that's how you start the
Nice.
beginning of knowledge for the American children to take over the economies of other countries.
That's how they start learning. That's the
Yeah,
first thing they learn.
teach them
Damn
that.
straight,
That's
it's
a good
going to
idea.
get really ugly.
Are we in
the next 100
Germany?
years,
Real life
people.
risk.
Right. Adolf, what?
Oh, we're in Germany now, right?
Yeah, we're
going to
taking over
school
the
in
world
Germany.
now.
So we're gonna
coming.
We're gonna
I'm
teach our
telling you,
kids
it's
to
coming.
imperialize it.
Damn straight.
Imperialization of young minds.
Sure, if corporate America had
So
its
we're gonna
way,
say-
they'd mind chip you,
Get off your iPad, kid.
program
It's time
you
to
just
take
to what they
over
want you to
Germany.
do.
Like the wall.
Do not listen.
Right.
Do not listen
With
to
an
this
iPad,
podcast on your iPad.
Yeah, you're gonna need that iPad.
Oh, yeah,
Never mind.
didgeridoo.
Keep carrying it.
Oh, that means it's time
Excuse you.
We're done.
for a blooming onion.
He had a free dinner last night.
It's kind of weird that you're shoving that in my face.
You know, that's what she said, Eric.
As she was blowing on your didgeridoo.
This is all the sex ed you need.
That's how he's teaching sex
Thanks for
ed.
inviting us. We're the
Give
special sex
everybody
ed
long, senile looking
educators of the show today.
Didgeridoo.
You give all the girls didgeridoos and you give all the boys like big wet calzones.
Why? Why calzones?
Yeah, why calzone?
Warm though, not too
Because
hot.
you just stick your
Why do
face in
boys
it and you
get
go
food?
blah, blah, blah,
Not
and you
too
eat
hot.
But the boys get food and the girls don't?
Girls
They
get
get didgeridoos?
didgeridoos.
All right, you guys get corn dogs.
The trick is to leave the breading on the corn dog.
Those big stick popsicles. Yeah, big stick popsicles.
Cherry pineapple flavor, so
It's
good.
all practice.
Jerry Bendo.
And that's how you stop the overpopulation situation of all the poor
Every
people
time-
having
yeah.
kids. It's like
Every
oral,
time you're
baby.
horny, you just
Come
get the
on.
popsicle.
Oral
Right.
baby.
Women got any fatter, I think that population control right there.
Powerful thighs.
on that.
It's all about powerful thighs. Thigh master.
What do you do with those powerful thighs? To make
Run.
it work. Run! I'm gonna get you, baby. She says, no,
Run,
you're
girl.
I
not.
need the bread for the calzones.
Cow zone.
Cows.
Like the cranial download and the chips in your brains and all that. We need to turn every calorie into a bit of information that you retain and learn.
So now the fat.
So you eat pizza and things that you love all day and you become a genius.
I don't have lunch money though.
Definitely.
Every time you hoge down on junk food, you get smarter. You have more knowledge. That would be the shit.
You need to hit.
Instead
people don't
of
need to
getting
hear this,
fat,
Joe.
you get smarter. Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's
Going
the thing.
They
places
have all
now.
these big old huge fat wobbly
So everybody that's like super fat, we're like, all right, they must be smart.
To do
The
on
law
that
of
one.
gravity and inertia. It's a real bitch.
So only
But
dumb.
we all know about it because we learned it while we ate that calzone.
But then only dumb people are going to be reproducing.
what do you think's going on now?
It's gonna be just dumb fucking skinny people fucking each
You'd
other.
have to be dumb to reproduce in the beginning.
No way, all the smart fat people are gonna have those big Crisco-covered orgies.
And also, if everyone is fat, then the skinny people are going to be the ones that are not pretty anymore.
There's your sex education again.
No one's even gonna be one to have sex. It's all
No,
gonna be
man, it's
virtual.
gonna be called Apple Kid.
Yeah. I got an
didn't
app
eat enough
on my
apples?
phone.
Did you get the iKid 12 yet, man? I traded in my iKid 5. He was almost ready for college. But I saw the iKid 7 and I said, I'm starting over.
I prefer Android kids, personally. They're a lot bigger, so...
That'd be cool. You can turn your kid off. Your kid's annoying you. You're like, that's it. That's enough of you, mister.
Oh my
Many
god.
parents wish for that button,
You need to go
dude.
start.
That goes in everyday life.
I would probably have a kid
Plug
like
yourself in.
Your wife, your husband, your
Put your
cousin.
kid on the
That's how the robots
charger
take
and
over.
when he's 18.
All right. Shut up. It's time to end an episode of The List.
Aw.
So what have we accomplished here?
Points. Let's count up some points. Yeah, play your goddamn kazoo. Let's go around the table. Eric, what do you got for me, dude?
Yes. I had
I didn't even know I had
Torture
that
for
one.
Tuition, Industrial Spy, the classic Swirly,
dang.
Cthulhu College.
It's Cthulhu. Nobody called him on Cthulhu.
I know, I-
I can't even pronounce
I
it.
can't
You
believe-
didn't call him on
I
it.
can't
We
believe-
made a joke
I
about
thought he was talking about
Cthulhu College because he said Cthulhu.
I know. I
thought
get
it
it.
was-
Just
I know. I
Cthulhu
can't
from
believe you guys didn't call me on
Ghostbusters.
that one. And I said it like a couple times
You
too.
did.
Wrong.
Okay, go on. Go on.
My honey badger ate my homework, which I kind of slipped in there, but I did say honey badger pretty loud.
didn't call him on it, but I agreed with
But
him.
did it eat your...
If it's a tiebreaker, I'll keep it.
I didn't say the
Does
last
not.
two, but I got a bluff point from Daniel, and I called Joe twice, but the second time I don't think I should count that.
I got
so
those.
one
Okay.
time.
All right, Joe, what'd you use?
BattleBot football, Golden Lasso, Willy Wonka, Hot for Teacher, Fruit of Knowledge, and stuff with $100 bills.
A lot of those you didn't get other people to respond, so that's the trick.
tried.
But this Joe and Nicole and Kevin are new, so they get some slack. You guys will learn how.
I
the
get
game
sacked
works as we
today?
go.
I'm not really in it for the
Yeah.
points,
Yeah.
man.
Got
Willy
some
Wonka.
sack for
Watch
you.
out for
Just
Jason.
open wide.
The one-eyed sack.
Okay, Nicole, what'd you use?
I used, I did Lowering the Age of Consent.
Which came up more than once. Yeah.
Thank you. School of Rock.
Yep.
School of what?
Powerful Thighs.
Which we all love.
Oh, yeah, no.
School of...
Actually, I think that's it. I might have done Arm the Children, but I don't think I did.
I helped you with that. I remember.
I think I did.
Arm the Children.
Arm the Children.
Because with the Kevlar school
Armed them with
uniforms and all
self-defense.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking arms.
Yeah, we brought up arming the children, so
I
kids.
really wanted
kids
to-
going to school with AK-47s. It's like, yeah, come and shoot at my school,
Oh,
bastard.
yeah, the
There's some
torture.
education.
Take you all down.
Because that will solve the problem.
Blake, what do you got?
I got super special ed,
One of my favorites of the day.
Yeah.
cellular learning,
Oh yes.
Tinder for teachers,
Oh, that was good.
Oh, that was... I thought
Dang.
that was a good one.
I thought that was
School of Fish,
Cellular learning.
yes.
I thought he made that.
and
Yeah.
bake sale.
And the bake sales.
Oh, the bake sale. That was a good one.
I should have known the bake sale was bullshit.
Well, you know,
Dean, what do you got,
bumper
man?
stickers.
Started with that, too, didn't you?
Well, I got Kevlar and Dress Code,
Yep.
Rosie the Robot,
Yep.
Bill Nye the Science Guy,
Yep.
Yep.
and Shock Therapy.
Kevin, what'd you use, man?
Okay, so I had 5. I think two are
You
suspect.
yell them out, and I'll be the judge.
General Grievous.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got
you
that.
did.
Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
had Cranial Download.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we got that.
Another Brick in the Wall.
Oh,
Lobotomy for Benefits.
Bottle in front of me.
you did.
Racer Banger.
Wait.
What kind
a
of banger?
racer
Racer
banger.
banger.
He slipped
I heard
those.
him-
That's why he
I
said
heard
he
him
was.
slip down.
Those
Okay.
last two, he kind of slipped in.
I think you
so the
called me
ones
an
that got
eraser
slipped
banger.
in, I consider for tiebreaker.
I was like, I don't know what
stuff.
that means.
A racer banger, man. When you were a kid, well, so you have to be old like me and Joe. When you were a kid, and,
bang the erasers.
and
Yeah.
they used real chalkboards.
No.
If you
Oh,
got
yeah,
in
yeah,
trouble,
yeah.
you had to bang the
A racer banger. No, it was when you had a boner and you couldn't get to the
Then there's me.
chalkboard.
Now,
Erase your banger.
I got a bluff
Erase your
point,
banger.
and I had 2 on my list, but I did not actually have a typed up written down list, so I don't remember them. So I only got 1 point.
Okey
because
doke. You
as
don't
Nicole got here, I had Nicole's list, and my list was Nicole's list, so I gave my list to Nicole as she walked in the door.
And I did a good job. I did a good job with the list.
All right, let's count them up.
10, 7, 8, 6, 5.
No, you did, Nicole. You got
Everybody's
4.
the winner, babies.
Joe got
I will
6.
eat your doozer house. You better let me win. What's that?
With 7 points, the winner today was Mr. Eric Lordy.
Yes.
Kicking some ass.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, all you folks at home, please remember to go to patreon.com/listgame and give us a little bit of love till we
Teach
get
your
some more
kids
people.
something.
Give us money
Spread
also.
us about,
teach your
man.
children.
Yeah.
Teach other
Teach your
people
children
to
well.
listen to this stupid thing so we can
just
get
the
this
song.
thing somewhere. This episode of The List brought to you by
Stanko Vision.
And Worcestershire sauce.
And Worcestershire sauce.
Secondarily. I know.
See
I've been
you
doing
next
this for a while.
time.
I had this. I had no idea.
See ya.
The List Game is listener supported. Join the List Game community at www.listgame.com. To contact the List Game crew, email listgame@cox.net. COX. Please subscribe to the podcast, rate us, and leave a review.